What's up, fight fans? This is Slim Olokpe with Slim Olokpe Boxing. So, Martin Bakole has finally spoken, and this time he's not holding back. After he was stopped by Joseph Parker in just 2 rounds, people have been wondering that what would have happened if Parker actually fought Dubois instead of Bakole that night, because people felt Parker was actually very good on the night. They felt like, he was so fluid, he was moving a lot in that fight, even though it was just 2 rounds. So people are now wondering that what could have happened if he actually fought Daniel Dubois instead of Martin Bakole. And when Martin Bakole himself was asked the question that what does he think would have happened if Joseph Parker had faced Daniel Dubois that he was supposed to face initially, and Bakole didn't waste time to give his answer, saying that he believed that Joseph Parker would have beat Daniel Dubois if it was Daniel Dubois that faced Joseph Parker. So now the question is, why did Martin Bakole say so? And what is going to happen to Daniel Dubois' world title shot? Let's break it all down bit by bit. Now, first of all, let us talk about Parker versus Martin Bakole and how it all unfolded. Now, Martin Bakole flying from Congo in the last minute, after it was announced that Daniel Dubois will not be able to fight on the night because he was sick, and Martin Bakole, he had to take the opportunity to jump in and say, I'll fight anybody, any day, anytime. I'll fight anybody. And the fact that Joseph Parker has been training, he has paid for his training camp, he has spent a lot of money, and a lot of people are involved, a lot of arrangements are involved. They cannot just cancel that particular card. They have to find a replacement. And Martin Bakole was happy to jump in because this man, he has been looking for this opportunity, to be honest. Who doesn't want to make a lot of money? It's not necessarily because he thought he's going to win the fight. For me, I even think he conned, the boxing fans, because he knew that he's not going to be able to win that fight. But yet, he jumped into it, threw his heart in, saying, he's going to take on Joseph Parker. He's going to knock him out. He's going to knock him out, even though he's not in shape. Like, who comes in the last minute to knock out someone that has been training for weeks? Like, who comes in to do that? It's not like you are about to fight me. You are about to fight one of the best boxer in the division, and you are not as good as this fighter anyway. Even if Martin Bakole and Joseph Parker was to make a proper fight, Joseph Parker would have won the fight because Martin Bakole is yet to be proven. He has not proven his mettle. He's just a hype job. He's just someone that is, hyping himself up with the story of sparring session, telling us how he has been knocking guys out in sparring session. And we know that sparring session is not like the real fight. When you are sparring with people, you are not just sparring with one person. You are sparring with, different guys, and you have a motive, you have a target in any sparring session. For example, now, if you are supposed to spar Joseph Parker in your sparring session, it might be to work on handling a good boxer that come forward with that 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. That might be what you want to work on, and Joseph Parker might actually get the best of you in that scenario because his job is to work on the 1-2 and your job is to avoid the 1-2. So now, along the line, Joseph Parker knock you out. Joseph Parker say, I knock him out in sparring. It's not possible because in a real fight, I'm not working on 1-2. I'm not working on avoiding you. I'm trying to hurt you. So a real fight is always different. But this guy is coming out to tell us that I've been knocking guys out in sparring session, and they have been using that to hype up his profile, which is okay. He's a fighter. I respect all these fighters, and they deserve all the money they could get. This is their job. This is their sport. Without them, we don't have anything, to discuss about the sport. But at the same time, we know that Martin Bakole actually conned the boxing fans because he knew that he's not going to win that fight. He knew that for sure. He came into the fight knowing he came in for a payday. But the boxing community, we need a replacement. So for me, that fight was not a fight. The moment Daniel Dubois was announced sick, I was just pissed. I've not been dropping videos for a few days now because, of course, I have to attend to what pays the bills. But at the same time, I was just like, oh my goodness. Of course, it's inevitable. It can happen. It's not okay for Daniel Dubois to go into a fight when he's not 100%. But at the same time, we have Martin Bakole who was out of shape, who just came out from nowhere. He's building a mall in Congo. Someone who is not even preparing at all for a fight. He's supposed to announce a fight with Efe Ajagba, but that is not official yet. They have not announced the fight, so he's not in training camp. He's out of shape, and he said, I'm gonna do it. This is a professional boxer we are talking about. You know what it takes. You know that you cannot just jump out of your bed and face a fighter that has been training for over 8 weeks. But that is exactly what Martin Bakole did. And the funniest part is that he arrived at 2 a.m. in the morning of the fight. Imagine arriving at 2 a.m. in the morning of the fight. Just imagine that. Then he had to sleep in the locker room for a while, before the the fight, he had to sleep after he has went through stopovers, trying to catch his flight from one airport to another. Of course, he will be jet lagged. He needs to relax. Then he woke up, maybe throw some hands on the pad. Like, I don't even know how they prepare for the fight, because there's no time to train. There's no time to spar. There's no time to plan. You just have to go in there and be slaughtered. Like, you are literally going into a war to be slaughtered. You literally come to corners, because that is what it is. But at the same time, you are a replacement which the boxing fans needed. We needed that replacement. But that's not a fight, in my opinion. That was not a fight, because the opponent has no proper preparation. He has no proper rest. He has no proper plan. So for this reason, coming up against a fighter that has been training for over 8 weeks, Parker was able to catch him clean on the head. And of course, that was a very heavy punch. Even Anthony Joshua said that any heavyweight would have went down from that punch, because of course that punch landed on his brain, landed exactly on his brain. So the brain shut down on him and he was not able to continue. He doesn't have the conditioning. He doesn't have anything coming into a fight. He just thought you are just going to come into the ring to beat one of the best boxers in the division. Of course, that is not possible. Parker would need to be a bomb to be beaten by Martin Bakole in that fight. No elite fighter, professional fighter in shape will be beaten by Martin Bakole jumping in the last minute, arriving at the venue in the morning of the fight. Then you need to sleep in the locker room uncomfortably. Then you need to wake up again without the right diet, without the right plan. It's fight time. It's crazy. And he showed in the fight, because he couldn't last 2 rounds. He couldn't last 2 rounds. He was knocked spark out, and that was it. He was supposed to be contesting for the IBF mandatory, but now I think the IBF has stripped him of that position, which is reasonable enough. They are not the one that told him to take the fight. He took it because he wanted the money. So yes, he has traded his position for the money. But the real story here is that after the loss, Martin Bakole still stand on what he was saying before the fight, which was he believed that Joseph Parker was going to beat Daniel Dubois. And even after the fight, he still believed that Joseph Parker will beat Daniel Dubois, because Daniel Dubois showed in Usyk's fight that he doesn't fare well with fighters that move a lot. And he feels that Joseph Parker is definitely going to be a problem for Daniel Dubois, because Daniel Dubois is not as fast as Bakole is. According to Bakole, he said he believed that he gave Joseph Parker more problem than Daniel Dubois would have done if it was Daniel Dubois. So we can basically say he is saying that Joseph Parker would have ended Daniel Dubois in the first round or in the second round like he did to him. I don't understand, because we have a Dubois that would have come in tip-top shape, a very brave Dubois. And of course, Dubois is better than Martin Bakole, but I'm just waiting for when he's going to prove himself, Martin Bakole. I wanted him to prove himself. I'm not happy he actually jumped into that fight. He would have made the money anyway, because he's getting the traction already. People are looking forward to him fighting somebody. He would have gotten the money anyway, especially if he can win his next fight, which should have been against Efe Ajagba. If he have win that fight, he would have become, bigger than what he is, and he would have gotten paid anyway on the long run. But now he has jeopardized his chances. We have seen him fall like that, with his leg spread in the air, even though we knew that he was not fit, but it's still on record that he lost with his legs up in the air. So for him to still believe that he gave Joseph Parker more problem than Daniel Dubois would have done, that is definitely some crazy work. But that is what Martin Bakole is saying. That is what he believes. He's saying that he believes in Joseph Parker's boxing brain and his IQ in there. So he believes that Joseph Parker is a kind of fighter that he can adjust based on his opponent, and that is what he did against him. Even though he was not planning to fight Bakole, he was planning to fight Daniel Dubois, but against Bakole, he was able to adjust immediately according to Bakole, and he was able to get the job done, which is not the case at the same time, for me, because Bakole was just a bomb in there. Like, what does he expect to do? What does he expect to do in there with a fighter that has been training for how long? What do you expect to do? You will get knocked spark out. So for me, that doesn't prove anything about Joseph Parker, even though people are saying that Joseph Parker deserved the fight now with Usyk. He should go directly to Usyk now. You should go directly to Usyk for beating Martin Bakole. I don't understand. For beating Martin Bakole, I was just pissed with all the news. I was just sitting back and enjoying the whole thing. You know what? Let me enjoy boxing, But it's been a while since I upload video, and YouTube is one thing. It's like a drug that if you have not taken it for a while, you just start feeling bad. Oh my goodness. But we're back now. And for Joseph Parker, of course, is still looking for the fight with Daniel Dubois. He still wants that shot against Daniel Dubois. He still wants to prove himself against Daniel Dubois. So he hopes this is going to be rescheduled and maybe we are going to see the fight. But the thing is, I don't think it's going to be happening because Daniel Dubois might actually be going straight into the fight with Usyk now. You know, he might be going straight to the Usyk fight now. Of course, I believe that he should make effort to fight Joseph Parker. You know, he should make effort to fight Joseph Parker, but we don't know what he's going to do. He might intend to go into that Usyk fight, you know, when he comes back. But as for the fight against Joseph Parker, Martin Bakole is all talk. Of course, he did a little bit of work against Anderson, but Anderson is just a prospect. Anderson is not that good. It's not that he looks good. He looks like a beautiful fighter, but it's not enough to be a beautiful fighter. So, but for me, Martin Bakole has not proven himself. Even though he lost against Joseph Parker, he still haven't proven himself. He still haven't proven anything because he has an excuse, you know, saying that he jumped in the last minute. Okay, we are going to see your next fight. We are going to see. In boxing, there is nothing you can do about it. It's going to be proven if you are a joke or you are the real deal. But for now, Martin Bakole is not confirmed, and him coming out to say that he believes he gave Joseph Parker more problem than Daniel Dubois would have done, I think that's a farce, and that's not true. That is not true. He's saying that he believes that he is tougher than Daniel Dubois. Who says so? Who says you are tougher than Daniel Dubois? Anyway, boxing fans, let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with Bakole saying that Joseph Parker would have beaten Daniel Dubois if it was Daniel Dubois he faced on the night? And do you agree that he gave Joseph Parker more trouble than Daniel Dubois would have done? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.